If I had just $1,000 to my name and I wanted to run it up to $100,000 in crypto, this is exactly how I do it. This is the exact roadmap that actually works. This roadmap isn't about luck. It's about changing the way you view the game at different stages, using different vehicles to make money based on what stage you're at. People make this mistake. They'll have $500 in crypto, but they'll trade the same way their favorite content creator with $5 million trades. That makes no sense. At every stage in the game, you have to play the game differently. And the secret to running up $1,000 to $100,000 is knowing when to adapt. So in today's roadmap, I'm going to give you the exact points in your journey that you must adapt. 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 50,000 and beyond that you can implement to make money. There are some tips and tricks today that I've never shared anywhere else before, and I'm excited to unpack them for you today because I do believe they are the secret alpha sauce to helping you guys succeed in the market. Now, if you do enjoy shorter evergreen videos like this, there's a link in the description below to my brand new channel, Crypto Edge. On Crypto Edge, I just upload straight to the point, short videos to help you succeed in the crypto market. So if you like content like this, make sure to take the time after this video to click on that link and subscribe to the new channel because you're going to find a lot more content like this over there. But I'm also uploading some of these videos on the main channel just so you guys can see the type of thing that I'm doing over there. And I also want to expose you guys to the crazy alpha like I've got in today's video. All right, this is the phase of getting from $1,000 to $10,000. This phase is all about building your bankroll. Honestly, it's hard to do a lot of damage in the market in the really early stages. So your focus with $1,000 isn't to go super conservative into assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just invest and hold. Your focus is on looking at asymmetries in the market to increase your bankroll and then compound small win, small win, small win into a bigger win over time. And that's when you can get more defensive in the market. Essentially, you want to get to $10,000 as fast as possible. So let me give you some strategies to help bootstrap that initial capital to get to 10K. Luckily, there are all sorts of free initiatives you can take advantage of in the market to make money. Airdrops are one example. There are ecosystems even right now like the Hyperliquid ecosystem, which have airdrop opportunities that don't involve you outlaying a bunch of capital. Some of these opportunities are quite attractive because you could be playing around with $200 and essentially get access to a $500, $1,000, or even $2,000 airdrop. So I think airdrop farming in the early stages and initiative farming, so taking part in social quests, is plus EV. The more money you get, the harder it becomes to do on an industrial scale, but it's very good in the early days to bootstrap your capital. And remember, protocols want to reward genuine engagement with their platforms, and they want the little guy to win. They don't want to give the whales a bunch of money. That's why they actually cyber wallets and concentrate those distributions towards retail, in this case you, who can take advantage of this. A second tip that you can use to bootstrap your bankroll, I might lose my exchange sponsors because of this, but take advantage of the exchange campaigns because exchanges are so competitive now and they're all trying to literally chuck money at you to get you to use their platform. So if you're a little bit cheeky and you may or may not be able to use multiple emails, you can take advantage of the deposit bonuses. Creators have insane deposit bonuses. So go across all of the top channels, look at the bonuses for exchanges, read the terms and conditions, because there are genuinely many cases where you can put $200 into an exchange and literally take out a $200 bonus 5 days later and double your money. Like, these opportunities exist. Genuinely, that is something to look into, especially in your early stages. You're just looking at ways to get your first few $1,000s right. The vehicle doesn't matter so much. It's just about getting that bankroll to 10K as quickly as possible, because as you'll see in the next steps of the roadmap in this video, it becomes easier and you play the game differently as you get more capital. And finally, a vehicle that can help you to get to your first 10K in crypto is actually content creation. So especially with X now having creator payments, you can actually move the needle in terms of your portfolio if you just tweet genuine information that provides value to other people. And that could also open up to sponsorship opportunities down the track and monetization opportunities down the track just from tweeting. Obviously, if you can create YouTube videos, even better, because I still don't think the crypto education scene on YouTube is as good as it could be. I genuinely think there's a discrepancy between the amount of money in crypto and the amount of good creators in crypto. So if you're willing to go a step further and do crypto YouTube and you're knowledgeable and you create good videos, that's a way you can make even more money. But even if you just want to do the basic thing of just tweeting what you're learning, tweeting good information, you have AI now to help you, I do believe you can make some decent income as a crypto content creator. And remember, your only goal is to just get capital through the door. So income is actually the number one tool. And this is where everyone messes it up. They all think with $1,000, you got to invest everything to make a bunch of money. That's actually not really the case. The case is more focusing on asymmetrical opportunities to make some money and increase your bankroll. In phase 2, which we'll get into now we'll start talking about investing. This is when you now have $10,000 and you're looking to turn this into 50K. The problem with 10K is it's still very hard to hit 100K through safer investments. Like, you can't really invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum and expect a 10X over a short period of time. I mean, maybe over 10 years or something like that, but it's very difficult in the shorter term to get those kind of results. You're still looking at vehicles to build your bankroll up to 50K. Then once you're at 50K, you can just park your money in safer assets. And we'll speak about the exact portfolio construction for that phase in a couple of minutes here. And the game becomes a lot easier to get to 100K. And once you're at 100, honestly, getting to $1 million is much easier. This is what I've experienced. The first 100K was the hardest. Getting to $1 million happens super quick. And then after that, it just compounds. So once you're at 10K, if you're trying to get to 50K, the way to do it is through higher conviction trades, slightly riskier trades, but higher conviction trades that can speed up your journey. Now, I'm not saying you should put your entire portfolio into micro caps. I'm just saying you're going to need to take on a little bit more risk to look at asymmetric opportunities in the market. Now, at this stage, you shouldn't stop what you were doing in phase 1. In fact, I still think a lot of the methods I talked about are still applicable with $10,000 to $20,000 in the market. But even at this range, you should still be doing that and using the income that you generate from phase 1 to put back into the market in phase 2. Now, in phase 2, this is when you could start looking at getting some exposure to majors to anchor your portfolio, so Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. But honestly, what I would look at doing is denominating more of my portfolio in stablecoins. Now, this might be slightly controversial because other creators are saying, be all into the market right now, but actually, I'll give you an alternative view today. You could be mostly in stablecoins, and then when you do see a narrative where the stars align, you can get into that trade with an invalidation. You're like a lion. You're waiting for your prey, and then when you finally see an attack vector, you go for it really quickly. That is how I think you should play this next phase in the market. But of course, you can barbell that strategy with having some core holdings, and then you can also start at this phase looking at some micro caps, like between 10 to 20% of your portfolio in some spray and pray bets where you throw some darts at the wall, see what sticks. Keep the majority though in more liquid assets and potentially stable coins, so you can take advantage of high conviction opportunities. Like when the AI sector heats up, we know there are lots of opportunities there. We know there are lots of opportunities in, the subsectors of that, like robotics, RWA, and DeFi has been a super hot trend. Mind you, if you don't want to get to 100K, you'll play this game differently. I'm giving you the playbook now if you're trying to build 1K to 100K. But if you get to 10K and you realize you're happy with 20, well then of course at that point you're going to start going more into Bitcoin and safer assets. But now assuming you're at $50,000, this is how you get from 50 to 100K. Now this phase is way easier. You've already done the majority of the hard work. This is the phase where you want to split your portfolio up into 2 buckets. One bucket is going to be your safe assets. So the majority in Bitcoin, Ethereum, potentially Solana, Hyperliquid, these kind of assets. And if you want, you can actually skew that part even more heavily towards Bitcoin. Then with the second part of your portfolio, this is probably going to be a lot less than 50%, potentially 20%. This is where you want to keep your foot on the gas with the highly concentrated bets. And this is where you want to keep taking on a bit more risk, because what you'll find is that the core portion of your portfolio, it could go up 50%, but then occasionally you'll hit a moonshot with that last 20% of your portfolio where you're able to make a lot of money a lot quicker, and that can help you get to this 100K mark a lot faster. You just want to make sure you concentrate it towards Bitcoin and the majors a lot more, let's say 70 to 80%, to make sure that even if you blow up with the, smaller cap portion of your portfolio, that you don't completely erase all your progress, because the worst thing is going from 1K to 50K and then round tripping back down to like 5 or 10K. So you want to make sure you lock in those gains by having more exposure to the majors, but keep your foot on the gas when it comes to concentrated bets. And I think at this point, you probably have developed an edge in the market. So the number one thing, and one of the main takeaways that you should take from this video, is you want to develop an edge. Now in the early stage, as we talked about in phase 1, your edge is looking at these little asymmetries in the market. Even if they aren't necessarily investing and they're taking advantage of incentives, that's a little edge. As your bankroll gets bigger, you're looking to capitalize on other edges in the market. For example, a speed edge through news trading, or if you're trading narratives, an information edge, because you're more plugged in and your systems are better than the next person, hence giving you an information edge to get into better, highly concentrated bets in the market. So to reiterate what you should do in phase 3, you want to have the majority in safer assets and then take that small slice where you genuinely go for those moonshot plays. So overall, this is the strategy that you can use to get to 100. And then once you're at 100, and maybe I need to do a separate video on this, the game changes completely, because you'll look at more stablecoin farming, you'll look at probably positioning a lot of your portfolio or a significant amount in Bitcoin, which you put into cold storage. And then the game to 1 million, I think, is actually a lot easier than getting from 1K to 100K, because then you just let the compounding do the work over time. But I think the steps I outlined in today's video can be really helpful to help you get to 100K in the market, which is, if you do get there, an amazing milestone, and you should definitely congratulate yourself if you can get to that level. And even if you go from phase 1 to phase 2, just make that your goal. If you're watching this and you're going, damn, I only have $500 or I only have $1,000, that's great. Focus on phase 1. Implement that, come back to this video for phase 2 and implement that, go bit by bit, and be proud of yourself once you get to the end of each phase. Remember, link in the description below to Crypto Edge, where I create content just like this. Over there, I'm uploading multiple videos a week. They're short, bite-sized alpha pack videos like this to help you get a leg up in the market and help you build an edge over your competition. I'm your host, Miles, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.